My name's Timothy S. Creek Sr. I own a tree and landscape company in Olathe, Kansas. Also own a construction company. We had built this little cabin here, I'm going to say about 5 years ago. This cabin basically is completely reclaimed material. There's a few items that are not, but for the most part, everything is reclaimed. My wife and I used the fifth wheel. We've been everywhere in that fifth wheel. You know, we've had our kids all in the truck, and we've been to Colorado, we've been down south, we've been to California, we've been up north. We are just gotten to an age that we don't think we're going to do that much anymore. So this was kind of a necessity for us, I'm guessing. Because I have 6 children, the fifth wheel will only sleep so many people. And this cabin in here, believe it or not, will sleep 6. I mean, it's a little cramped with 6 in there, but if you want to get out of the heat or the cold, it's really handy. Everything in here is at least 50 years old, the wood itself. And you see the supporting beams right here. These were locally cut, and they were notched out to hold the weight of the roof. And then there's piers underneath the building, you know, to hold it in place. It's pretty solid, and it's pretty heavy. We bought this box in Baser, Kansas, I believe, and it was sitting out in the middle of a field. This box weighs in excess of 12,000 pounds, and we did it all by hydraulic jacks to get it up on this trailer. So there was no big equipment to move this. One full day to pick it up, put it on a trailer, and another full day to get it actually stabilized on this ground. If you look right here, this is all cedar right here. All this trim is cedar. Doors custom made. I didn't make the door handles. I bought those at Home Depot, unfortunately. These are 2x4s. So each one of these 2x4s were drilled and doweled, and it was all pressed together and glued. And then I took it to a company that actually has a planer that's 36 inches wide. And they went ahead and planed the outside of the door. This I had made from one of my employees.
When we get bored, we like to sit around and stare at the mountains, at the birds, at the ocean, at the trees.
All this sheeting on the inside, this is all plywood. I did have to purchase this plywood, unfortunately. This bed is made, I made this bed, it's out of cedar. The floor was actually, a refrigerated truck means, if you're unfamiliar with those, forklifts actually drive into the truck. So the floor's got to be pretty substantial to hold the weight of the forklift and the materials coming out. So the floor is 3 inches thick. So this is where a lot of the weight comes from right here. We look around here, this is all reclaimed. I don't know how I did it, but we walked into I think it was a restore, and we found this exact cabinet. Things just went together perfectly for whatever reason. Cabinets too, we're all in one situation. Microwave oven, refrigerator, you know, all the coffee pot, gotta have a coffee pot. Back over here, my son's little entertainment center TV. We don't have cable TV here, but we have games and videos, and then of course we have to have the air conditioning. And that window was actually a sample window. We have a fan that actually fits in there when the weather gets nice. I have a junction box out here. It's 30 amp right out here. I have a 200 amp service that runs out of my shed, and it runs right to here. You can get a 101 on electrical and do your own wiring. Pretty simple. Just don't work with it live. You know, and you can see the wiring that's exposed on the outside. I'm not a journeyman electrician, but in order to wire this behind the wall would require drilling into steel behind the wall, and I didn't think I was wanting to do that, so exposed wiring is fine. We have a tank outside that holds water. I elected to go really basic, back to the bare bones on this cabin, because we have facilities in our fifth wheel. And then we have our little eclectic mix of what is important to us, you know, like the saying right here, the Indian prayer there, I got that from a friend of mine that has since passed. Little trinkets like this. We were at a swap and shop. This fella made this little carving for us. It's not a carving, it's a drawing. I've never lived large. I don't like that. That's just my preference. Everybody else may be different, and that's fine. But when we get down here, it's like all the pressure's off. And the sweet thing about living in something small, you don't have a lot of upkeep. You don't have to clean a big space. So that's kind of, my wife likes that, you know.
Would you live anywhere else? We've got the ocean, got the bays, got the sun, we've got the waves. This is the
If somebody's going to build a little tiny house, you don't really have to have, you can read a book. Read a book. That will take you a long ways if you can comprehend the construction end of it, and then just think about the whole thing. Get your shell up, get that done, and don't get in a hurry to put it together. Think about it. Think about how it's going to be used. You know, instead of just going in there and doing it. But have some thoughts down, put it down on paper and say, this is what I want out of this cabin. This is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to get it done. Don't go to Home Depot if you don't have to. Don't go to Lowe's, don't go to the lumber yard. Look for that stuff. You know, instead of putting it in the landfill, use it. I mean, if you look at this cabin, have this cabin built, probably $30,000-$40,000. I have, well, we're not going to count the labor. Let's not do that. I have maybe $3,000-$4,000 in this. It's small and it's quaint, and we love it.